As we move forward with the draft here, there's a lot of different things that they're going around. Like there's a lot of different things you're taking a look at, and I'm really interested to see what the Raiders do, the Las Vegas Raiders do in free agency, because I think there's some good things that could come out of this. You've got guys like J.C. Jackson you could go and get. There's a lot of no-name guys that we've shed a light on a lot of guys that we felt like honestly should be on the Raiders' radar so far. So the question for me now becomes, when they get to the draft, what's the philosophy? Do you draft a guy that you immediately go straight for need? Do you trade down to kind of like meet that need? I think the best way to go about this, especially with the Raiders, and I think especially how it will line up, because they got 22, and I feel like guys like Devontae Wyatt will be there. I mean, this is a deep wide receiver class, so Chris Olave will be there. I really feel like this will be a draft where they can just stick and pick for the most part and get what they need. And I think that comes down to drafting the best player available. And listen, this is a draft where a couple positions of need specifically, I feel like defensive tackle is relatively deep. Like you have guys like Jordan Davis are probably going in the top 10. His teammate Devontae Wyatt's probably, I think he'll be there at 22. I really do. And then after that, you got guys like Perion Winfrey, Noah Ellis, Travis Jones. We got a draft crush on too. There's some options here. There's not a ton, but I mean, when you get down into the second, third, fourth, fifth rounds, there's some guys there that might be able to do a little something for you. So, but after that, I do think you need to make a move on one of those guys. I think that's your best bet to have an immediate impact in terms of defensive tackle in this class. So that's just one. You talk about wide receiver, Chris Olave. I mean, there's just so much talent. Garrett Wilson, all those boys. Treylon Burks. There's so many wide receivers. Velus Jones Jr. that I think you can get in the later rounds. This is a really deep wide receiver class. I think the biggest focus there needs to be, obviously, everybody pretty much ran a 4.4, so you're getting speed right off the bat, which I think is the biggest thing because, prayers up for everyone in the whole Henry Ruggs situation. I think at the end of the day, you can stick and pick, or you can just sit there and get the best player available, because chances are there's probably going to be enough the depth that you could just draft a need like immediately where you're at. Now, do I think all of those picks are going to be that way? No, but my point is this. I think if the Raiders do a good enough job in free agency, i.e. sign a couple of guys, I would really like J.C. Jackson. But I mean, that might be a pipe dream at this point. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I think if they can sign a couple of guys that can fill a couple holes and then build through the draft, and by drafting the best player available, I think that could really help them out. Because again, if you get to a point where, let's say they're in the second round and you got guys at guard, if you have Zion Johnson there, who in my mind, I don't think he falls out of the first round being the first guard selected. I think he could be the first or the second. Or you got a guy like Dylan Parham. Are you going to sit here and tell me you're not going to think about it? You won't just stop and consider immediately upgrading your guard position and helping out your offensive line? I think that needs to be considered. I know they've got some guys that can play right now, but I mean, Alex Leatherwood's probably best suited for guard. Denzel Good, is he coming back? I believe he is. I'm not sure off the top of my head. There's some things that they need to consider here. I think overall, what it comes down to is looking at where your board falls, looking at where your needs are, and they need to draft the best player available, even if they have somebody there. If at wide receiver, they get into there. Well, actually, that's not a good example because they actually need a wide receiver. So, I mean, anywhere they draft a wide receiver, I feel like it's going to be a good spot. But if you get to a point where you're in, say, the third or fourth round and there's a really good defensive end on the board, you got to think about life after guys like Yannick Ngakoue. You got to think about life. Well, I mean, Max Crosby is going to be playing for the next 10 years. Let's be real. He's a stud. But Yannick Ngakoue is a good player, a really good player. He really showed out for the Raiders last year. But there's life after him. There needs to be a thought of, okay, building for the future as well and developing these guys, because right now, if you've got your needs, and now again, this is mainly if you've only got your needs. I don't think they should go out and just select a defensive end in the first round, but I think, if you're in the fourth round and the next available corner or whatever is not available until round 5, round 6, and you're just sitting there in the fourth round with guys like, Boy Mafia, Nick Benito, one of those boys, you got to take that. You have to seriously build for the future. You can't just get pigeonholed into doing one pick, because a guy at that value, a player of that caliber following to you at the fourth round, falling, apparently I can't say that word today. I mean, come on. again, you build towards the future in these drafts. You find value, and I think that's what guys like Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels, I think that's what they're going to do. I think that's what it comes down to. That's what successful franchises do, and I think we saw that to a degree with the Patriots. They did go after guys after need, but overall they also got guys that came in after their starters that they drafted or signed in free as an undrafted free agent and made some plays. So I think that's what needs to be really considered now. You got a lot of good talent in a lot of positions of need in this draft. I think it's deeper in the wide receiver area. Also, it's semi-deep in the defensive tackle area and corner. I mean, there's some things there, and also some guards as well. Like we said, Zion Johnson, Dylan Parham. There's some Marquise Hayes. You love him coming out of Oklahoma. He's a stud. So overall, there's positions here, multiple positions where, okay, you get the guy you want in the first round, had the best player available, and then after that, obviously you draft for need, but also best player available. I think that's what it comes down to, and especially with what I think that the Raiders are going to do in free agency. This could be really interesting to see how it all unfolds, but there needs to be an emphasis on drafting the best player that's there that can make an impact. Maybe that player could come in, like we used the defensive end example. You get Boy Bafia in the 4th round, I guarantee you he comes in at least gets you 5 sacks this year. I mean, where else are you going to find that kind of production? Maybe Malcolm Kuntz, but I don't know if they'll play him. We'll see what happens. But overall, there has to be a huge emphasis for the Raiders on getting the best player available to be able to build for the future. But let us know what you guys think, and make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. In the description down below, you find all of our social media platforms, so give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about the Las Vegas Raiders needing to draft the best player available.